Alright, welcome back. We are gonna take a quick peek into my league starter this league, which were the Volcanic Fissure of Snaking on a Berserker. And to be fair, I wanna kind of make this claim right away. I think I have made a mistake somewhere and I cannot for the life of me figure out where the mistake is. So I tend to die randomly. I'm just getting one shot or dying to dot damage. That's basically it's been going on now for a long time, and I'm not entirely sure what I've fucked up on the build here. But if we go over some gear first and foremost, now let me start out by saying I really want to use this helmet called Echoes of Creation. But the problem being, if I take off my helmet, I'll no longer be able to use my body armor due to the intelligence requirement, and I have 55 intelligence on the helmet. So the reason behind me not using this at this current moment is simply because I do not have the intelligence to put this on. It sucks a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, that really does suck a little bit. If we go to look here, I have 191 and it takes 173, and if I take my helmet off, now I only have 136. So yeah, it's just all around bad news for me, to be honest. Now yeah, so let's go over some gear real quick. So my helmet, it's life, ES, armor, some intelligence, some resistances, nothing real crazy here. Armor that I crafted, I'm pretty happy with this. I had to settle for some T2s, but it is fine for what I'm doing currently. Again, no life modifiers on the armor because we have the mastery, so just ES armor and some resistances. And then I hit strength on my exalt, so I was like, fuck it, I'll just keep strength. Next up we have the Yoke of Suffering. Very self-explanatory, basically just a massive damage output here. We have our first ring, which is a lightning ring for the lightning resist, some fire resist, some chaos resist, the intelligence that we need to put the armor on, and some life, and a bit of rarity. And for the second ring, which is not as good as the first one, again, fire res, chaos res, intelligence, and life, and then of course the skills cost less mana. And if we go to our gloves, it's kind of the same story. We got ES and armor, and then we have some life. We have faster attack speed and some resistances. Very nice gloves. I really like these gloves. I could do with a bit of an upgrade here, but for now it's fine, I feel like. Boots we have here with 30 movement speed, 32, sorry. Life, armor, and ES, and resistances, so very, very nice too. And then we have our weapon, which is not the best in the world. It could definitely be better, but I'm pretty satisfied with it. It's 935 DPS, so for right now I'm happy with it. But I am currently working on an upgrade, so I'm recombinating a bunch, but it's not working out too well for me. I've lost many bases. All these three windows were all full and have all been emptied out once, and I still haven't gotten even half an axe, so it's kind of a tough time this time around with the whole recombinator. We are using Headhunter, of course, for some easy extra damage and safety. And for flasks, I'm using evasion, movement speed, a life flask, progenesis, and a tincture. That's decently rolled, I would say. On top of that, we have our merc. Let me just walk over here. So on our mercenary, we have Flame Link. We are currently using the Untouched Soul tag. So basically what happens here is when you put this on and you have white sockets in your gear, it gives him more resistances. As you can tell, these resistances is pretty high. So when I put this back on, we are currently at 135, which we can get higher than that because I'm missing white sockets on a lot of gear here. So once we get white sockets, 3 white sockets on all the gear, we should have enough to really put down their fire resistance with this new ring. So these two in combination with each other work exceptionally well, and that's the reason I'm using that. And then of course we have Legacy of Fury, we have KM's Binding, we have some resistance rings with a bit of life regen. We have an armor, a helmet that's decent, it's nothing crazy, a pair of decent gloves. Actually, this is the old stuff that I was using on him before I went ES armor hybrid, and then we're using the Brain Rattler. And basically, he's just a nice extra boost to our damage. So with the Flame Link, it works out really, really, really well. And if we take a look at the stats, as we saw before, we're pretty decently split in the intelligence dexterity, and then we have a fair bit amount of extra strength for some more life and to wear out gear and stuff. If we go to resistances, you'll notice that my fire res is a little bit low right now. It's only at 82, which I will be working on fixing later down the line. But basically it's because of the helmet also has lightning resist on it, so I made sure that I was overstacking lightning resist so I could swap for the echoes, but without the intelligence it's not really possible to swap to that yet. Also we have 6 endurance charges right here. Besides that, let's go to the tree real quick so we can take a quick peek at the tree. So this is what my tree looks like at the moment. I am going to be working on a couple of things here. I kind of want to get to the fire mastery and convert physical to fire damage. So that is probably next up on the line. I want to swap out this cluster jewel and preferably have one where we got the fuel the fight and the martial prowess on these two, so I can drop these 3 notes right here and then use those on our fire mastery instead. Besides that, we have some jewels, a little bit of life on them, and some maximum fire res, some life and some damage. On this one we have life and attack speed. On this one down here we have attributes, attack speed and life. And then of course we are rocking the Doriani's Glorious Vanity here for our Corrupted Soul. And also we are using a Light of Meaning with extra physical damage, so we're actually getting quite a bit of extra damage because of the amount of nodes which is within the circle that I have picked here. This build was something I saw Fubgun talk about before the league, so I'll of course leave a link to his POB in the description. Massive shout out to him for putting this out. This looked very, very interesting, and it's so far out my wheelhouse personally. I'm not a melee player per se, so for that reason I thought that at least it looked fun and it didn't look super hard, and I was like, let me try out doing melees for one league, or at least as the league starter. Yeah, so that's basically it for the build itself. The way it works is you have all your let's go over some gems actually. So we have we have auto exertion, which automatically uses our cries, and we have rallying cry, we have intimidating cry, seismic cry, and herald of purity. I'm currently using this one to level an awakened gem for later. And then we got Frostblink and Blood Rage. We got cast on damage taken support with Molten Shell, Val Molten Shell. So I also have the option to use the Val version right here. Then we have Infernal Cry with Combustion support. We have faster attack with Leap Slam. And then of course the most important, Volcanic Fish of Snaking. We got melee support. We have Polarize. We have Overexertion. Overexertion. That's a hard word to say. Awakened Fire Damage and Awakened Fire Pen. And then in the helmet we have Auto Exertion again with Blood and Sand. We have Battle Mage's Cry, and we have our curse, which is Flammability. And besides that, the way it works is you hit the ground once, and it sends out these fissures, and they automatically basically target any nearby enemies. So it's not like I have to walk up and actually physically hit an enemy. I can hit the ground anywhere in the vicinity of an enemy, and it'll snake towards them automatically. I'm self-casting the Infernal Cry and the Blood Rage, and then the rest of them gets cast automatically. And then we have I do want to point one thing out actually. So there is a Volcanic Fissure of Snaking Veiled version, which I have been playing around with a little bit, but honestly I didn't like it too much, and I decided that I rather want to use the regular version. So I leveled up a bunch of them and corrupted them to get one that was level 21. And that's all for the gear and the gems, and I feel like we should jump in a map real quick. We'll just do a breach map here. We'll put extra breaches on as well. There we go. And we have that. Yes, we do. So this is what I usually do for leveling. As you could see, we are currently level 99 on this build right now. I literally just leveled up, so it is phenomenal. And let's see. Okay, so as you see here, I hit that, it automatically just goes around. So if I go all the way down here, I hit it, now it'll just go up and start hitting enemies by itself, which is really functional. It works really, really well. However, as I said, I feel like personally I fucked something up on the build because it is somewhat squishy, and I do die from time to time, and I'm not entirely sure what I'm dying to other than it being dot damage or one shots. I can't really explain exactly what it is, if it's the ignite damage or if it's poison damage. I have no idea because all of my resistances are maxed out, and I still don't fully know what I've done what I've done wrong to make it feel squishy. But yeah, it's a fairly nice build. It functions well. It has a lot of things going for it. It's fairly simple to do. It's not something I feel like was super hard to get into, but once you want to like get it to its maximum, you could say like push it to the maximum, then it becomes a little bit more convoluted. There's a couple of things you want to do. Maybe you want to go crit. That's one option you have. You could also stay the way I am right now. I'm gonna stay this way for now, since I have a second build, and the second build is more my type of build per se, you could say. I prefer to play the other build, but I did want to kind of just go over this one to show it off and to kind of let you guys know what I think about it, and to like so you could see what it looks like basically. I think personally this build is great for a couple of mechanics. There's some mechanics it's really good at, and then there's some mechanics that I don't necessarily want to do on this build per se. So first and foremost, bossing is not really my thing on this build. I wouldn't want to do a bunch of the uber bosses and stuff like that. I don't feel comfortable or confident enough in the build to do it, whereas my other build is more in line with something that can do pretty much all content, where I personally prefer to do stuff like Blight. I like to do the although Blight can be annoying, especially if it's too many lanes, then it can be a little bit hard to control it. And another one that I really like to do on this one though is boxes. The strong boxes feels immensely better than any other mechanic in my opinion. That one is pretty close to being perfect for this build. I really like the strong box tactic on this one. I feel like that's kind of what it's meant for somewhat. It definitely feels strong when you're doing the strong boxes, no pun intended. And besides that, like Breach, as you can see, is fairly easy to do as well. course, you are gonna want to watch out for a couple of the breach bosses, because some of them do hurt a little bit. Some of them do have fairly strong attacks, and I believe, is it Ash that shoots out all the little wintry? No, that's the electric. I forget who exactly shoots out the winter, like big wave of just little wintery balls. That dude can be tough if he's standing in the right spot where he can like cover a big area and you can't really evade him. That shit is it just you die really fast when you die. It's super hard to interact, and I would not do mercenaries on this either. I just don't feel confident doing mercenaries on this build at all. I think personally it's more meant for like boxes and maps, and not necessarily super good at single target damage. But the damage in general is pretty fucking high, and it does feel really good, especially in group settings. It feels really good. I played a whole lot of group this league. I played a lot of public games with just randos, and it has, I feel like it has proven itself to be fairly competitive in terms of being able to clear higher tier maps and stuff like that. I wouldn't do T17s per se. Well, I have done some, but I prefer not to. Just some of the mods are really harsh on this build, and for that reason I prefer my other build for T17s and T16.5. But still very satisfied with this build, honestly. There's a lot, it has a lot going for it. It has good damage, just good coverage. It's not screen wide like wipes. You're not wiping the entirety of the screen with one hit just immediately, kind of like lightning arrow. That thing was just off screening everything. You just barely ever saw an enemy because everything was dead before you even got close to it. It's not like that. You still see the enemies, and do take note, if you are using Headhunter like me, when you get this teleporting mod that I got right now, as you see, it's just randomly teleporting me around. That can be quite the killer. That has definitely cost me some XP. If you caught me on my live stream when we were leveling to level 99, you saw how bad it is and how often I can die if I'm not being careful. I think we died like 5 or 6 times during that stream getting to level 99. It was absolutely terrible how many times I died. It cost me a lot of divines in the omens, so you don't lose all your XP. But besides that, if you're not the type of person who cares about getting to level 100 or cares about that stuff, this build is great. I think this build is great. And there is a couple of expensive parts to it, like Pro Genesis is fairly expensive, right? Like that's 67 divines. Headhunter is, well, it's 8 divines now, but it was way more expensive before. Yoke is semi, like it's 1 divine, right? And then the rest of the gear you can either craft or so what I did was I used the memory strand, the new crafting method. So what I did was I found some bases like this one, for instance. I crafted them with the dense fossils, which is right here, and that in turn basically made this. So it can't have life modifiers, but it has defensive modifiers, and your armor and ES is all defensive modifiers. So it was fairly easy to get decent tiers on it. Now this was tier 2, tier 3, tier 1, tier 1, tier 2 when I had it crafted, and then I upgraded it with the new orb. I don't know if I still have one left. I don't actually think I still have one. No, I don't. Okay, but I used one of the new orbs, which consumes all the memory strands and attempts to upgrade tiers of the modifiers on your gear. So that's what I did with the armor, and it's what I did with the boots. And what I do it with the helmet too? I forget if I did it with, no, I didn't do it with the helmet. Right, the helmet and gloves I didn't have memory strands on, so I couldn't really upgrade them. I do have bases for it though, but it's still a work in progress. As you can see, we have a pair of gloves here we're working on, a pair of boots that we're going to be working on in the near future. And the idea is basically just getting something a little bit better than what I got now, and then upgrading it, preferably hoping for tier 1s all the way. I think that's all that I need to cover in this video. If you have questions, if you want to see more, please like, comment, subscribe, all the good jazz, and I will be putting out a video on the other build soon, so that way you guys get to see that too. It is a Captain Lands build, not to spoil anything, but maybe you can figure it out on your own what it is. And yeah, so hopefully you all have a good day, good evening, whatever it is for you, and I will catch you all in the next one.